Good morning. Please be seated. Welcome to the 128th commencement of the Wharton School. Dean Robertson, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, alumni, members of the class of 2012, and of course, all of your families. We come together this morning to honor and celebrate the achievements of Wharton's class of 2012. Now, seniors, remember it seems like so long ago during our first senior event, I told you this is speech season. Well, hold on just a little bit more. The end of speech season is in sight. A couple of more of these, and you'll no longer be Penn students, but rather Penn alumni. So bear with us for just a little bit more words and advice. Just 4 years ago, you began your freshman year at the University of Pennsylvania. Wow, time goes by really fast, doesn't it? Since then, you have slogged through Math 104, figured out what opium is, built, some know more than others, built your teamwork skills through countless group projects, forged lifelong friendships with the people that you might not have ever met, but for your simultaneous path through Penn. These friendships and the relationships you build with others after college will undoubtedly be some of the most rewarding aspects of your life. The connections you make and the ability to build and sustain relationships are not only critical ingredients to happiness, but also to success. In this technologically driven world, we increasingly find ourselves in voluntary social isolation. Even in the presence of others, we often wall ourselves off, checking email, texting. You know, kindergarten may be the last place, other than Management 100, where we learn to play well with others. The fact is, interpersonal skills matter. You know, Steve Jobs is always going to be remembered for how he rose to power, fell, and rose again. He was a genius, a visionary. But his relationships with his colleagues were notoriously toxic. Ultimately, though, he was able to rise again because he was a brilliant entrepreneur. However, his legacy, while great, will always be tempered by the asterisk of his poor interpersonal skills. At the most basic level, businesses are groups of people working together to get something done. And for long-term success, you're going to need to be able to navigate the social landscape. You don't live in a bubble, and you won't work in a bubble either. So, even if you are a visionary, a genius, my advice to you is be flexible and adaptable. Listen attentively and seek to understand. Whether you are interacting with people in your own team or negotiating a deal with another company, find a way to connect and to align your interests. You've practiced these skills at Wharton. Continue to do so when you leave. If you play well with others, you will find your path to success a much easier one. Okay, that was the advice. Now for the praise that I mentioned earlier. I really do have confidence in you because you've already gone far and achieved so much while you were here. Very briefly, you have established outstanding academic initiatives through the Wharton Undergraduate Advisory Board, helped us pilot the first senior capstone course, served as advisors to Management 100, contributed to a stronger undergraduate community through numerous club events and conferences, worked on countless hours of research and projects with our distinguished faculty, excelled in varsity sports as all Ivy players, served your peers across the university as the class of 2012 board officers and members of the UA, SAC, SPEC, SKU, and NEC. Parents, if you don't understand that, your students will tell you. You've grown, stretched, and clearly achieved a tremendous amount. As Wharton graduates, I know you have the skills and knowledge to make a positive impact and take advantage of all of the opportunities that the world will present. We will miss you. Some of you might also miss us. Always know you have friends at Wharton, and especially in G95. Drop us an email. Let us know how you're doing and what's happening in your life. And better yet, come back in person and mentor those who will come after you. And now, I'm pleased to introduce Thomas S. Robertson, Dean and Reliance Professor of Management and Private Enterprise and Professor of Marketing here at Wharton. Dean Robertson is a leading expert on marketing strategy and competitive behavior. As Dean, he provides a strategic vision for all of our educational research and outreach programs, advancing Wharton as a source of innovation and a force for good around the world. He is currently leading our $550 million fundraising campaign with emphasis on student fellowships, expanding our world-class faculty, and programs in global leadership and social impact. Please join me in welcoming Dean Thomas S. Robertson.
Wow. Thank you, Vice Dean Phillips. And welcome, graduates and families and friends. Our graduates receive their Wharton degrees today. It's a wonderful achievement and the result of a great deal of hard work. But this was supposed to be a day for mothers, not their kids, wasn't it? Isn't this Mother's Day? So graduates, let's take a moment now to thank the mothers, and while we're at it, let's thank all your families and friends for the hard work that they have done to help you get across the finish line today. Let's give them a round of applause. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm sorry that we're inside on such a beautiful day, but Siri said it was going to rain. Frankly, I think Siri could use an optimism upgrade. Actually, a little more optimism is a good idea for all of us. And that's what I'd like to talk about. Whether you're here as a graduate, family member, faculty, or friend, optimism is an undervalued commodity. It is indeed the fuel of human progress. You're more optimistic than you know. Remember the last time you got on a plane and they told you to turn off your cell phone because it might interfere with a flight? You didn't really believe that, did you? After all, nobody goes through your bags to see if you left Angry Birds on. Though I suppose if it's Words with Friends and you're Alec Baldwin, you might get kicked off the airplane. Seriously, if they're putting our fate in the hands of anybody with a smartphone, we're all in trouble. Another remarkable phenomenon is that a 747 can get off the ground at all It weighs almost 1 million pounds. So that alone tells me you have some optimism because you get on that plane. And so, from that optimistic perspective, here's an unconventional view. It seems to me that the global economy is booming. Yet nobody seems to realize it, except me, of course. And let's look for some evidence. The great driver of modern economic progress is globalization. To succeed, it takes an open society and relatively free markets. Over the past 20 years, China has moved toward economic openness, and so have Russia, India, Brazil, and countless others. We can see a clear parallel between engagement with a global marketplace and growing economic strength in developing countries. Are there gaps and systemic shortcomings in the global economy? Of course. But when has that not been true? The trend today is undeniably upward. Consumer confidence is up, with the most confidence appearing in Asia and Latin America. But confidence is rising in the US also. The signs are out there, both big and small. Here's a small example. Many countries that more people are eating out. That is a small example. And back in the US, home sales were up last month. Housing prices are up for the first time since 2007. Manufacturing is up. Corporate profits are up. And Ford's bonds have been removed from the junk pile. Over and over, the pessimists get it wrong. The optimists get it right, and we all enjoy the spoils. Think about a pessimist cashing out of the stock market in late 2008, and that would have been exactly the wrong thing to do. So what's the best way to act on optimism? I say it's to take great leaps. Your fellow alumnus, Elon Musk, who sat here, class of '97, helped found PayPal, sold it to eBay for more than $1 billion, and now he's built the first private company to launch and return a spacecraft from orbit. He says his greatest goal is to make life multi-planetary, to enable self-sustaining civilizations on other planets. Elon knows that technology is not the whole story. It takes someone unafraid to transform our wildest dreams into reality. So the most influential and exciting changes are usually things that nobody considered, even a few years before. If you could get in a time machine and go back, say, 30 years to tell them what's coming, imagine how crazy you would sound. You might say something like this: in less than a generation, you and nearly everyone else will walk around with a device in your pocket from which you can access virtually all of the collected knowledge of mankind. And you're going to do all this with what looks like a sheet of glass with a little metal rim. Isn't that right, Siri? We're surrounded by miracles of optimism. They're so common, we forget how amazing they really are. And yet, there are even more on the way. There are efforts right now to put data servers on the moon. Why? It's the ultimate safe backup against catastrophe here on Earth. Now that's optimism. The big idea is actually made possible by yet another big idea. What if our server on the moon is hit by a meteorite? Since you can't just fly up there to replace it, maybe a server on the moon isn't such a good idea, but In recent years, we've learned how to create plastics which, if broken or cracked, can literally heal themselves. Over the course of hours or days, they seal up as though nothing had ever happened. Never mind the moon, I want my son's bumper to be made out of that stuff. Technology is just optimism brought to life. All of you are optimists. It's why you entered this program. You saw great futures for yourself, and now you're at the start of something very big. Let me revise that. You're not starting something big, you're continuing something big, because hopefully you'll make Wharton a part of your lifelong learning. You'll be involved with us for peer-to-peer mentoring and the exchange of new ideas. From now on, you come to receive and to share, to put knowledge into action for yourself and for the world. We're not done with each other, and that makes me very happy. In that same vein, I'm looking forward to seeing how you carry out the mission of the Wharton School, the social impact you will undertake, the innovation that you will bring to life, and the ways you will use globalization to create opportunity and value, because you will. I'm optimistic. You came to Wharton for the extraordinary opportunity that this great place provides, and now another extraordinary opportunity awaits. You have a lot in front of you if you're just willing to take that leap. It's an amazing world and an amazing time. Let the pessimists have their worries. Go build the world you want, and for this, Siri agrees. Congratulations and good luck. Each year, a representative from the graduating class is selected as Wharton's graduation speaker. And this year, it's my pleasure to introduce Samuel Wayne Rowland. Sam's from Springfield, Missouri, and is graduating with concentrations in marketing and management. While at Wharton, he was a practice leader at the Wharton Small Business Development Center, and he was also a committee member and mentor with community school student partnerships and after-school program in West Philadelphia. He spent his summers doing strategy and financial services consulting and spent a semester abroad in Copenhagen. After graduation, he will work at the Chicago headquarters of A.T. Kearney, a large strategy consulting firm. Please join me in welcoming Sam Rowland to the podium.
Good morning, Dean Robertson, Deputy Dean Gibbons, Vice Dean Phillips, faculty, staff, distinguished alumni of all reunion years, family, friends, and classmates. I am truly honored to address such a distinguished body. As I stand before you, one question lingers in my mind. Why are you at Wharton? I remember the first time I was asked that question in an interview. Something about it was hard for me to answer. Perhaps it was the fact that I was feeling claustrophobic, sitting in what can best be described as a closet in the OCR suite. Or perhaps I just didn't know. Nah, that can't be it. After all, I'm a Wharton student. We know everything. In all honesty, it is a difficult question. But after 4 years at Wharton, how can it be that this question is really the most difficult to answer? Why is Walmart successful? Local monopolies. Why does my pair of sneakers cost so much? Brand premiums. Why are there 60 types of toothpastes? Differentiated segment tastes. Why do some olive oils cost $40? Price framing. Where do you find the smartest students in the country? Wharton. These are all easy questions. Despite being tough, I knew that interview question was important. It was really asking, what does it mean to go to Wharton? Now, we all know what our friends and roommates think is the answer to this question. Over the years, I've kept a list. To them, going to Wharton means wearing a suit, having 10 copies of your resume ready at all times in a neatly organized padfolio, being able to find your group meeting in F62 without asking, what is F? Just having a group meeting in the first place, knowing where the Lehman Brothers quad is, and chuckling every time you walk across it, and associating G6 with first a lecture hall and only second a song lyric. But those are the insights of just those closest to us. Our friends who walked next to us on Locust, our roommates who saw us leave for each late night group meeting and interview. As a result, they probably have the most accurate view of what it is we Wharton students do. You see, I can still remember when I told my grandmother that I was accepted to the Wharton school. She had a puzzled look on her face and asked, do they teach that at the prison, or are there actually special Wharton schools? All kidding aside, what does it mean to go to Wharton? Obviously, there's more to it than just suits and GSRs. The Wharton undergrad program defines itself as business and more. Despite its brevity, I think there's something to that definition. Everyone always wonders what they mean by more, but I think that's the whole point. As much as we may naturally try to peg down what it means to go to Wharton, there really is no definition, no set experience, no set trajectory after graduation. Wharton is business, but beyond that, it's what we make of it. Now, I can't leave this podium without issuing an inspiring request of some sort. It's at least an implicit obligation in exchange for being offered this soapbox. But I'm not going to tell you to go out and change the world. You will surely do so. I'm also not going to tell you to make millions of dollars. I know you'll do that. All I request is that we continue to share our answers, not on exams, and not in violation of our confidentiality agreements. But make sure that before we leave this campus, you share what more means to you. So, I ask you now, before your faculty, family, and friends, why have you been at Wharton? Why have you spent long hours in GSRs? Why have you huddled in OCR interview closets and attended about 100 info sessions? Why did you accept the scornful glares of MBA students who condescendingly took an extra 10 minutes to get out of their GSR or classroom? Why did you take classes requiring 5 concurrent projects? We did all of that in order to sit here today, prepared with the analytical tools taught in the core and the ingenuity taught in the concentrations, ready to tackle the biggest business decisions in the manner only a Wharton student can, able to answer those tough questions. And at the same time, we are here to share our answers, to benefit from lifelong camaraderie. After all, if we've learned anything from all our case studies, it's that one bright, sunny spring day, we'll be sitting together in rather ornate offices, with our Wharton diplomas framed on the walls above our heads, pondering an upcoming merger or a big product launch as we look out our window at the beautiful red and blue flowers basking in the sunshine. Then we will easily see why it is we went to Wharton. For now, congratulations, class of 2012.
Thank you, Sam, and we are glad that you chose Wharton over prison. The class of 2012 had the opportunity to select a faculty member to address them at graduation. All Wharton seniors had the opportunity to vote, and this year's faculty speaker is Professor Pete Fader. the Francis and Pai Che Professor of Marketing. Professor Fader's expertise centers on the analysis of behavioral data to understand and forecast consumer shopping and purchasing activities. He knows what you buy. He has been published in and serves on the editorial boards of a number of leading journals in marketing, statistics, and management sciences. He has won many awards for his teaching and research accomplishments. Our students enjoy his class in applied probability and models of marketing, and he is frequently asked to serve as an expert speaker for many of our student clubs and organizations. Please join me in welcoming Professor Fader.
Unlike many of the speakers you'll be hearing from this weekend, I'm going to be honest with you. Many speakers will point to the word that's being used for this weekend's events, commencement, and they'll take it very literally. In their speeches, they'll tell you that you're only at the beginning of your adult life. They'll tell you about all the challenges and opportunities that may be in store for you in the future. Well, that's all very nice. And while they might be correct from a purely definitional standpoint, that's surely not why you brought so many family and friends with you here today to celebrate. So in contrast, I'd like to call it what it really is and focus instead on the more appropriate word, capstone. That's truly why we're gathered here and enjoying such a festive weekend. This is the high point of your time at Penn, your crowning achievement. Of course, there will be good times ahead, but today you're not looking at the path ahead, but at the path that brought you here. Today is the capstone of your coursework and other academic endeavors, the capstone of your social events and community building activities, and for many of you, the capstone of your athletic achievements. I'm honored to be celebrating this glorious day with you, and one of the reasons why you chose me is because of the capstone that Vice Dean Phillips referred to, a brand new seniors-only course that proved to be a huge success right out of the gate. This past January, 52 brave volunteers cut short their holiday break to come back to campus to take on an intense and risky new course featuring a complex simulation game, intricate interpersonal maneuvering within and across teams, and a deep re-immersion into many of the theories, models, and concepts that you've learned, or at least been exposed to, in your Wharton courses. This capstone was a wonderful experience for everyone involved, thanks in large part to the leadership of Vice Dean Phillips, the hard work of the entire undergraduate division, but primarily because of how well you, the class of 2012, brought your incredible spirit, your natural curiosity, and your exceptional can-do attitude to all aspects of the course. I thank you for embracing it and creating a new Wharton tradition for future classes. You proved to me, once again, why I love to teach Wharton undergraduates, and while all of us on the faculty are so lucky to have you challenging us, validating our scholarly efforts, and constantly pushing us to raise the bar on what business education really means. And for me personally, it's a big capstone year as well. I'm celebrating my 25th year on the Wharton faculty. Some of your parents were here as students when I first joined the faculty in 1987, and I look forward to educating many of your children in the decades ahead. I'm sure that I'll continue interacting with them just as much as I've enjoyed working with the thousands of students that I've met over the years, but very few Wharton classes have been as interesting and enjoyable as yours. Granting me this special honor of allowing me to share this wonderful day with you is a very meaningful capstone in my own career, and I can't thank you enough for it. Best wishes, class of 2012, and relish this capstone moment.